Welcome to Your Aha Life. I'm your host, Dr. Tonya Harris Cornelius. The Aha Life is a life of more joy, more purpose, and more fulfillment. Through these episodes, I will bring you stories of insight and inspiration to help you live the life that you dream about, the life that you are meant to live, your Aha Life. Enjoy the episode. Hi there. Welcome back to Your Aha Life, the podcast. I'm the host, Tonya Harris Cornelius. It's been a while since I've done this solo, so I am maybe a little rusty at it, but bear with me. I am really happy to be back with you solo. I've had a great time interviewing my guests and talking about really interesting topics. But what today is that I get to, kind of go back to the way I started with you. Back in October, I did my first episode and it was just me, and I was really very much a novice. I think I'm still a novice, but I just got to talk about things that I was interested in, and topics that even I, on my own Aha Life journey, am exploring. And so that's what I'm going to do today. And I have my notes here with me, so I'll look at those from time to time. But yeah, it feels really good to be back with you today. We're going to be talking about a Japanese term called wabi-sabi. Wabi-sabi. And wabi-sabi, how to employ wabi-sabi in your daily life. But before I go there and talking about today's episode, I want to just give some quick announcements. I promise this will be quick. We'll get to the show really quickly. But I thought, since I have you here, and thank you so much for joining, if I didn't say that before. There's some things that I want you to know. I hope that you want to know them as well. So, of course, you're listening to the podcast, but I also have a website by the same name, Your Aha Life. It's a website, it's a blog site actually. And I have wonderful blog articles there that I think are on topics that will help you as you really go on your Aha Life journey. So that's one of the things that's there I want you to know about. Also, you can find this podcast on that website, and you can access it from, I think it's 8 different platforms. So feel free to also use the website for that. There's a page of resources, and these are resources that I've curated because they've helped me so much in my journey. There are things like books that I've read, other blog sites and websites that I follow, as well as applications, apps. So some really good stuff there that I think I'd love for you to check out. Hopefully they're helpful, and I think you'll find them helpful. And then what else? So there is also a link to my private Facebook group, the AHA Community. And I want you to know about this community. Back in October, when I started with this podcast, there were like 120 or 130 people in the AHA community. Now we are almost at 500 people. So we've grown really well, really kind of fast. And it's a group of like-minded people like you who are very much vested in their personal development. And they want a positive space to gather. There's so much negativity in social media and even on Facebook. But in the AHA community, we are a positive group of people who are really focused, as I said, on our personal development. These are people who want more joy, more purpose, and more fulfillment, which is all about AHA Life. And I hope that you will consider joining. I'll welcome you to our wonderful community. Let me see if I've covered everything here. Oh, I didn't even tell you how to get to the website. So the website is www.yourahalife.com. So I hope to see you there. You can also sign up for email list, and you'll get access to my monthly newsletter that comes out at the beginning of every month. So I don't, spam you with a lot of stuff. We just a monthly newsletter that I think is pretty cool, and it's picking up a lot of traction there. So I welcome you to check it out. So what else? Podcast. I do want to talk about the podcast. I'm really interested in growing Your Aha Life, the podcast, and getting better. I know I have still a lot to learn. And if you've been with me from the beginning, hopefully you've seen progress, but I'm still learning and still growing. And, but I want that wherever you listen to this podcast, if it has the feature for you to subscribe or download, like, rate, review, whatever, and also share with others, please, please, please do that. As I said, I really want to expand the listenership and now even the viewership of Your Aha Life, the podcast, and get this message out, because I know there are a lot of people that really want, to pursue their goals and dreams and want to be a part of something positive in their personal development and live their aha lives with more joy, more purpose, and more fulfillment. So so please do that. So now today, really excited to bring you Wabi-Sabi. I know that seems like, okay, what is Wabi-Sabi all about? And I'm going to get into it. I became interested in this term probably 2 or 3 years ago. I saw it and I thought just like you, what is Wabi-Sabi? And it's a really interesting kind of phenomena. I guess it's a phenomena. It's a way of living. It's a worldview. It's a mindset. And so it's all about actually overcoming perfectionism. And here's the deal. I encounter a lot of people, as I said, who want to achieve their goals and dreams in life. And some of them, though, they have these internal barriers, these messages, these limiting beliefs. And one of those limiting beliefs is perfectionism. They sometimes are reluctant to even start embarking on a goal or a dream because they fear that they won't be perfect at it. And so I have set aside the month of September to really talk about what are the things that can really help you to achieve your goals and dreams, as well as the things that get in the way. And I thought perfectionism was a huge one. It's something that I hear a lot, and I don't think that we realize how much we don't even try to go after our goals and dreams because of this whole thing of perfectionism. So as you can imagine, Wabi-Sabi is about getting over perfectionism. And as I said, I became interested in Wabi-Sabi a few years ago, and it's resurfaced because I hear about it so much. But it is about learning to embrace our imperfections, not only in ourselves, which is most important, but also the imperfections and the expectations that we put on others and things and situations and so forth. And so, I don't want that to be what holds people up from achieving their goals and dreams in life. So I want to share with you a book. So this is a book by Leonard Cohen, and you see it here. It's Wabi-Sabi for artists, designers, poets, and philosophers. Yeah, I can read backwards like that. So this is a book that I bought actually 2 or 3 years ago. It's an easy read. I highly recommend it. So it gives a little background on Wabi-Sabi, the history of it and how it has evolved, and pertaining, of course, to the creative space. But it's also a book that a lot of the newer books on Wabi-Sabi draw from. So you might want to get that. So it's by, again, Wabi-Sabi for artists, designers, poets, and philosophers, and it's by Leonard Cohen. Yeah, that's that. So, all right, what is Wabi-Sabi? I'm going to read a little bit because I took some things from the book. I took some things from Wikipedia and so forth. So just, I have my notes here. Wabi-Sabi, as I said, is a Japanese term that is peripherally, anyway, associated with Zen Buddhism. It's not a religious book. It's not a religious practice, but it is spiritual in that way. It was first used more and adopted by Japanese tea masters, priests, and monks. And so hence Zen Buddhism also has some Chinese background there. Many say wabi-sabi is very hard to translate or even define clearly. It is something that is felt. It is something that is noticed. And it says it grew out of the Japanese aesthetic for imperfect beauty. I love that already. Imperfect beauty, or what is called the Zen of Things. And I love that because Leonard Cohen talks about that in his book, The Zen of Things. Wabi, the first word in this duo pair, stands for rustic simplicity. It is a quietness and unstated elegance. It can refer to imperfections that arise out of constructing something. And those imperfections that arise out of constructing something actually adds to the beauty and the uniqueness and the elegance of that object. Just think about when you're making pottery and it's imperfect, but part of the imperfections actually adds to the uniqueness and the beauty. So that would be wabi. Sabi is the beauty and serenity that comes with age. That is a kind of a weathering of an object, if you will. And it's when the life of the object and its impermanence become evident through its patina or its rusting or the film that comes over something after oxidation. So sabi is beauty and serenity that comes and shows through weathering or old age, right? The old age of something. That's sabi. So wabi sabi. And these terms, they have changed meaning a few times. As I was reading about 700 years ago, when Japanese kind of royalty really embraced emptiness. What I think of now today is like simplicity or minimalism. When they embraced emptiness and imperfection, wabi-sabi was actually honored as a important step. And I think in Wikipedia it says tantamount step to satori. And satori means enlightenment. So wabi-sabi has been around a long time and has really an importance in enlightenment, which enlightenment is kind of the first thing of the aha life is to be enlightened and be awakened into something. So fast forward to today though, what is the kind of the modern meaning? If you can really grasp that. Like I said, it's very hard to articulate wabi-sabi clearly, but it says that wabi-sabi is the wisdom in natural simplicity and flawed beauty. Wabi-sabi is the wisdom in natural simplicity and flawed beauty. Flawed beauty. Wabi, the first word, is the wisdom and natural simplicity side, and sabi is imperfect beauty. And remember, through aging and appreciating the aging, kind of like fine wine, if you will. Richard Powell, he's an author, and he wrote this book called Wabi-Sabi Simple. And he said something in his book, and I'm going to quote it. And I'm going to come back to this over and over throughout this short talk that I have with you today. Wabi-sabi nurtures all that is authentic by acknowledging Three simple realities. One, nothing lasts. Two, nothing is finished. And three, nothing is perfect. Isn't that great? So, Wabi-Sabi nurtures all that is authentic by acknowledging three simple realities: nothing lasts, nothing is finished, and nothing is perfect. So, I want to park here for a minute and elaborate. Let's just think about this. The first one: nothing lasts, even us. We are mortal beings. We have a time. Most everything has a time. For everything, there is a time and a space under the sun. This is the notion in Zen Buddhism of impermanence, that nothing remains, that things are transient. And it's when we learn to let go of this illusion that things are fixed, that we can actually release ourselves from more suffering. We cause ourselves a lot of suffering because we get through attachment to things or to people or to situations. And the first simple reality of Wabi Sabi is that nothing lasts. And I want to tell this personal story, and it's a little sad. But on July 8th, my brother, 56 years old, passed away suddenly. And it's just the realization that we all have a time. We are mortal beings, and our time will come. And it's, I don't want to say that it's all about, death, life or death. It could be simple things like your time at your job, at a certain time, or you may say, I'm ready to retire. Nothing lasts. That's the point, that there is impermanence. And when we accept that there is impermanence, that things are transient, then we can and lose that attachment to permanence and fixation with permanence, and learn to let go. We talk about letting go a lot, right? Letting go of limiting beliefs, letting go of negativity, letting go of certain relationships that no longer serve you. Moving away from jobs. I mean, doing second acts even. There is nothing lasts. That's the first one, and I want you to think. The second one is nothing is finished. Nothing is finished. I think of life, and I'm going to go back to the life kind of analogy. I think about life, and it's kind of like a relay race. Of course, in my younger days, I used to run track, and one of the events that I ran was the 400 relay. Of course, it was called the 440 relay when I was running it many moons ago, but the 400 relay. And so you have four runners, and all of those runners have their leg. They're running their part of the race. And then when they get their part of the race is done, they hand the baton off to the next runner. So let's just use that analogy. Right now, we're here and we are running our race. We are hopefully running this race with purpose, with passion, with joy. We're having fun. We're making an impact in the world, but we are running our race. But at some point, we will pass the baton, and the generations after us will pick that baton up, and then they will run the race and they will continue on. And think about it in the workplace. I'm a talent management leader. That's one of the functions that I oversee for my company. And we have what is called talent and succession planning. And what you're doing is you're preparing your successor who is going to take over after you leave the position or after you leave the company, because nothing is finished. Nothing lasts and nothing is finished. And so you will have to create successors who will keep running the race and keep going after the prize, if you will. So passing the baton, that is the second one. And then the third one is nothing is perfect. Yeah. And I think that's just so huge when we lose that illusion of flawlessness. I mean, look, we don't even like things. I mean, people who appear to be flawless. And why is that? Why are we at least suspect of people or even things that look flawless, that are flawless? Because we don't trust it. We don't trust them. We think that there's a facade, that there's something that is hidden. Why? Because we know that nothing, deep down inside, we know that perfection is an illusion. And even if something were to be perfect, it would take away the journey. Think about your journey in your life, in your aha life. Think about like all the twists and turns, all the highs and the lows, the mountains and the valleys, I can go into all these analogies, the sun and the rain or whatever. But think about those things and how all of those things together actually make your journey so much more rich than it would be if everything was just always smooth sailing. And I would think there's like you can't get a diamond. I mean, you gotta get some hard spots for diamonds, and even a diamond has a flaw. Even the diamond that looks the most perfect has flaws built within it. So anyway, these are the three, and I wanted to cover this with you because as I said, I'm going to just really draw your attention back to these three simple realities that Richard Powell listed in his book. Again, Wabi-Sabi Simple by Richard Powell. Nothing lasts, nothing is finished, and nothing is perfect. So moving right along, the other thing that I did was, as I was preparing for this podcast, I did some other readings and went on to Medium, which is a blog site that I do follow with emerging and experienced writers and so many different topics. I recommend it if you are not on Medium. But anyway, this blog site, I read an article called On Wabi-Sabi by Thomas Opung. I hope I'm saying your name right, Thomas Opung. But he wrote an article on Wabi-Sabi, accepting your imperfections and making the most out of life. That's what we're talking about, because this whole podcast episode is really about daily living and incorporating Wabi-Sabi into your daily life. And so that's why I really love this article. And I'm going to share a few things that I got from his article that really resonated with me. He said, in so many words, I'm paraphrasing here, Wabi-Sabi is everywhere. He is so right. It's everywhere. Why? Because nothing is perfect and there is beauty in imperfections. So we just have to notice. We just have to pay attention and to be present so that we can find the beauty in things and accept the beauty in things just as they are. I always think of nature when I think about that, and I'm going to talk about nature in a little bit. So that was one of the first things that that resonated with me, that he said, Wabi-Sabi is everywhere. And I want you to know that. If you just take a look around and you notice, you will see Wabi-Sabi. You will see this rustic elegance, this simple beauty, this elegance, the character in old things that you enjoy. Another thing that he talked about in his article is called kintsugi. It's also, of course, a Japanese term. It's a great example of creativity and in art, and it calls kintsugi, Kintsugi, in case I'm not saying it right. But you've seen this. It is cracked pottery that has gold, like gold dust lacquer, that fills in where the cracks are, so that instead of hiding where those cracks exist, It actually highlights where the cracks are. I love that. It is not shaming where the cracks are. I mean, think about us in our lives. It's not shaming where we might have imperfections. It is saying that those imperfections are part of our overall beauty, a part of our overall elegance, a part of what makes us unique and makes us who we are. So I love this kintsugi cracked pottery where gold dusted lacquer is used to fill in those cracks, to actually showcase where the cracks are, not hide them. And this adds to the pottery's beauty. Other examples of appreciating wabi-sabi. You've seen them all. Think about a leaf that is turning from green to brown, and even from brown to crackling, the autumn, the fading of the autumn leaf. Aged wood. I love aged wood. So some people even do the sandpaper to make the wood not look so pristine, right? So aged wood or paper or a fabric. I want to talk about this because we all have it, whether it's an old blanket that you have, an old sweatshirt that you love, or a coat or whatever. This old fabric that might be thinning and may even have a few holes here or there, but it's your favorite because it's so comfortable, or it has a history, or it adds to the look. I mean, sometimes you pay $200 for a pair of jeans just to get the look of wabi-sabi jeans. So, so that's kind of how it shows up in art. And certainly, as I said, chips in a bowl, that, especially if it means something to you. Think about heirlooms. Heirlooms over time, they're bound to get scratches or cracks in them, but it just, because those cracks tell a story, it just adds to the beauty and the meaning of it. And so I love that. I love those different examples. I hope that brings it home to you. And I'll share more in just a minute. But I want to say one more thing that Opong talked about in that article from on the Medium blog site, which I absolutely agree with. He said that wabi-sabi is more important today than ever. And you know why? He said because people are desperately looking for a life with more meaning and fulfillment. And I agree. I mean, that's why I have your aha life, because I do think that people are awakening, the aha, people are awakening to a different way of life that they want. And they want a life with more joy, more purpose, and more fulfillment. They want a life of meaning and fulfillment, as Opong said. So I want to talk about, I mean, the whole article is about wabi-sabi in your daily life. And I don't want you to think that wabi-sabi only shows up in an artifact, or wabi-sabi is just in, you know, an old piece of china or porcelain or an artwork. Wabi-sabi is in your daily life every day. And that's what I'm going to talk about. Where does wabi-sabi show up in our lives? And I would say the first thing, going back to what wabi-sabi means, it means appreciating simple beauty, the Zen of things, really appreciating the aging process of something, the weathering, the history that something brings with it. So here's how wabi-sabi shows up in your life. Number one, of course, I'm going to start with you. Wabi-sabi starts up with you. Learning to appreciate your own imperfections as part of what makes you unique and beautiful. Birthmarks, quirks, anomalies, the things that we always try to hide. Stop hiding them. They're a part of your glory. They're a part of your unique qualities that make you beautiful. And so there's something that I read as it relates to this, and it's about you. It's about me. It's about us as people, because we need to learn this about appreciating wabi-sabi in ourselves. as the number one thing to how wabi-sabi can show up in our daily lives. It was an article by Whole Living. I don't know the exact author's name, but it's by Whole Living. And it said, you won't find wabi-sabi in Botox. Just let that sink in. Won't find it in Botox, glass and steel skyscrapers, smartphones, or your drive for the relentless pursuit of self-improvement. You won't find wabi-sabi there. It's a beauty that is hidden right in front of your eyes. It's an aesthetic of simplicity that reveals itself only when animated through the daily work of living. Just living. Wabi-sabi is in living our lives with simplicity and beauty and embracing our imperfections as they are supposed to be there. Embracing the times when we got off track and then got back on track. Embracing the off track period just as much as we embrace the on track period. I feel like I keep saying this in almost every podcast, but it's so true because we like to gloss over our failures, our mistakes, and seeing them as failures and mistakes, number one, instead of seeing them as lessons, as opportunities, as things that were maybe, I'll put in air quotes, supposed to be there because they're all a part of our journey. So that is, that's it. So number one is appreciating the simple beauty that is found within yourself. That's how you start living wabi-sabi in your daily life. Appreciating your aging process. I know that's hard for some of us. Yeah, that's hard for some of us. Birthmarks that we have, too much of this, too little of that. We're quick to judge. And that's one of the things is that wabi-sabi is not judging. Wabi-sabi is just appreciating. And it's about taking care of your whole self from the inside out, not just trying to focus in on, the face or the facade or the body, even the physique that people will see. Yeah, I mean, it's one thing to take care of yourself. And I want to go back to the self-improvement. It's not saying we should not focus on self-improvement. It's saying when we are almost fanatical about it, as though we are not enough. We are enough, and we're just continuing to grow, and we're continuing to become. We're in a state of becoming. So before I go to number two, an example came to me that I wanted to share. You remember a few years ago when Alicia Keys decided she was going to go minimal with her makeup or not wear it at all for a while, right? And maybe just some lipstick or whatever. And she got mixed reviews on that. But I applaud her because she's a beautiful woman. And that was a statement. That was a statement of wabi-sabi. That is a statement of simple elegance, of saying, this is who I am. This is who I am. I don't have to cover up, as I wear my lipstick today, but I don't have to cover up under these layers of makeup when I don't have to, right? And that I am embracing my full self just as I am. What a power statement Alicia Keys made. And that's a wabi-sabi statement. So number one in living wabi-sabi in your daily life is really appreciating, accepting yourself just as you are, appreciating your beauty and all the imperfections as a part of your unique beauty. The second one, as you can imagine, then just moves to others. Accepting others also just as they are. And I'm talking to myself here too, because I hate to say it, but even with my kids, sometimes I can judge them, and I'm working on this whole judging thing. But accepting others as they are. and remembering what Richard Powell said in Wabi-Sabi Simple. I told you I keep coming back to that because it's so powerful and I just want you to remember it. We're all in a state of becoming. I love Michelle Obama's book. We're all in a state of becoming, and nothing lasts, nothing is finished, and nothing is perfect. So giving people grace, allowing them to grow, allowing them to change and evolve and to learn, just like the grace that you want for yourself, and you honestly should even give to yourself, extending that to others. That's how you can practice wabi-sabi in your daily life. That's number 2. Number 3, well, it's hard to do any of that unless you are being present. That's number 3. Be present. Take time to look, to pay attention, to, instead of this multitasking, which is also an illusion, because we're not good at multitasking. Something always gets the short shrift. So try monotasking. Try being fully present in conversations, in situations, in approaching a opportunity, a problem, a challenge. Try to be fully present in that so that you see the simplicity, the elegance, the beauty, the imperfections, and how that all can lend itself. And so that is, it says, giving people and things the attention they deserve. I mean, don't you hate when you're trying to talk to someone and they are distracted? They're not appreciating the beauty of the communication process. And so when you are fully present, you're more likely to see the beauty that lies underneath, the elegance, the simplicity, the answers, the character that sits underneath the surface. Sometimes we're moving so fast, all we see is what's on the outside, what's on the surface. But when we are practicing wabi-sabi, and we are certainly practicing it in our interpersonal relationships, we can actually go underneath and see what's really there and touch the hearts of people and really be present for them and to hold space for other people. That's a wabi-sabi move. Yeah, that's good. So that's number 3, be present. So far, wabi-sabi for yourself, appreciating yourself and the imperfections, the uniqueness that comes with that. The second is extending that to others. Third is being present. The fourth, I told you I'd come back to this, is observing nature. Natural beauty is everywhere, and it's certainly in nature. I mean, have you seen, the other day, I have a friend who posted on her Instagram post this picture of this contorted tree. And it was beautiful. The twisted trunk limbs made the tree beautiful. And I thought to myself, that's wabi-sabi. I told her that too. That's wabi-sabi. That's an example of wabi-sabi. And have you seen trees that grow out of a rock? That's wabi-sabi. Those are examples. Or even fruit in the grocery store where it's a little bit like ill-formed, if you will. That's wabi-sabi. The fruit is still the fruit. And the thing about it is neither the tree nor the fruit is wondering, oh, why am I shaped that way? Or why don't I look like so-and-so? They're in their own skin. They are looking and appreciating themselves. That tree is doing what trees do. That strawberry that's all kind of funny shaped still is juicy and sweet. They still do what they do. We can learn a lot. And I just really encourage you to get out in nature. And almost every post that I have when I'm talking about living your aha life, nature comes up in that. And so anyway, that's what I say about that. That's number 4, observe nature. Number 5, take time to appreciate things that are weathered. that are weathered. They have a history. They have a story behind it that is so precious and a part of the meaning that they have and that they can convey. I think about, houses. When you go shopping for houses, some people right out will say, I don't want this pristine cookie cutter looking house. I want a house that has character. And what do they mean when they say they want a house that has character? What they mean is they want a house that is weathered, that has been lived in, that feels cozy. I'm going to take my Danish word, hygge. Hope I'm saying that right too. But hygge, a house that has, yeah, I don't know, just it's weathering. It has maybe the wood is a little worn in spots, or I don't know, you know what I mean, or old barn, or a car, antique cars, all these things that have their beauty, and age is a part of that. So why can't that be a part of us? So why can't we appreciate and embrace the aging process as we get older, the wisdom that comes with that? And I think that's what it said earlier in that is Wabi. Wabi is wisdom of simplicity. So anyway, that's number 5. And then the last one that I'll share with you today is number 6, and that is being authentic. And I've talked about it all the time. Goes back to what Richard Powell said, that I quoted at the very beginning, the authenticity, being yourself and letting others be themselves and appreciating that. And I have here, not putting a metaphorical mask on yourself. Like, it is what it is. What you see is what you get. Or I am doing the best I can, and it is perfect. Not flawless, but it's perfect in its own way. So imperfectly perfect. So those are the 6. Start with yourself, extend that, acceptance to others, be fully present as much as you can to notice, to be able to notice, and give people and things the attention they deserve. Observe nature. There's so many examples of wabi-sabi in nature. Take time to appreciate the weathering and the aging and the building of character and wisdom in things, the simplicity, and be authentic. Be who you are. So those are 6. Maybe you can think of others. I'd love to hear if you think of any more. There's certainly probably plenty of them. But as I said, this is a topic that I have glanced over the last 2 or 3 years, but really decided to do a podcast episode on it because I'm just encountering it so often with people who are afraid to take their first step toward their goals and dreams. They have these beautiful goals and dreams, and I always tell people, believe in the beauty of your dreams. Oh my God, I just had an aha moment. Believe in the beauty of your dreams. And I think that's just such a wonderful thing. But if you're worried about, perfection, if you're wondering how you will get it started, or will you be able to finish it, or whatever, just remember Richard Powell, nothing lasts, nothing is finished, and nothing is perfect. So before I go, I'm about to wrap it up. Thank you so much if you're still listening here, and I hope you found this a really good topic. I'm learning a lot just from everything that I've put here together, and I will meditate on this as well. But Robin Griggs Lawrence, she is the author of Simply Imperfect, Revisiting the Wabi-Sabi House. I found that, and it's also quoted in Thomas Opung's article that I told you I found in Medium, and I loved it so much. So here it is in, again, paraphrasing a little bit, but she says, bring wabi-sabi into your life. I'm sorry, bringing wabi-sabi into your life takes a mind quiet enough to appreciate muted beauty. I love that. Bringing wabi-sabi into your life takes a mind quiet enough to appreciate muted beauty. And she goes on to say, and a willingness to accept things as they are. It's being able to slow down long enough to notice, to shift from doing to being and becoming, and to appreciating rather than perfecting. Wow, that's some good stuff. That's some good stuff. I love that. I hope that you've gotten a lot out of this episode, and I hope that you will look for your own ways to appreciate wabi-sabi in your life. I guarantee you, now that you know wabi-sabi, you will see it everywhere because it is everywhere. We just have to notice. We just have to notice. Remember, again, nothing lasts, nothing is finished, and nothing is perfect. Thank you so much for joining me today. Again, if you like this episode, please leave me a like or a 5-star rating, whatever the platform you use, and then share this with others. And I'll be back again in another couple of weeks with another episode. Thank you so much, and I wish you more joy, more purpose, and more fulfillment. Thank you for watching. I'm Dr. Tonya Harris Cornelius. Come back again in another couple of weeks for a brand new episode. Hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you soon.